by Jaguar. And you know what? It's T-minus 16 hours to get your taxes filed. And with the deadline looming, we've got some last-minute advice for all those procrastinators out there. And here with what you need to know is the founder of TrueTaxHelp.com, David Selig of Selig and Associates. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm a big fan.
All right, let's get right to it. Now, if you haven't filed and you need to put in for an extension, this is a question a lot of people always have. What do you need to know about doing that this morning?
Okay, it's really important you file your extension. The IRS, you can do it either electronically or on paper, Form 4868. For New York State, you got to go ahead and file electronically. You'll get an automatic 6-month window, but if you owe taxes, you should probably address it sooner rather than later.
All right, you did answer one of my questions. I was going to ask you, how much time does an extension usually buy you there? And you say about 6 months, right?
Absolutely, you got 6 months, but you should get all your ducks in a row. A lot of people, they let that whole 6 months go, and then in the 11th hour, they're running around.
Yeah, and of course, the other thing you've got to remember is even if you file an extension, like you said, if you owe, you still got to send that money in with the extension, right?
Yeah, precisely. In the federal situation, when you owe taxes, it's significant. It's 3% over the federal short-term rate, plus 0.5% of what you owe. New York is more severe. New York charges you 7% interest on unpaid taxes, where conversely, if they owe you money, they'll pay 2%.
Wow. Okay. So now we know what the legal ramifications are if you don't file at all. I mean, that you're really just bucking for trouble there, right?
Well, sure, Greg. And you also have to take into consideration that you have the principal, the non-filing penalties, the non-payment penalties, and then interest on top of all of that. And the interest rate is compounded daily, so it adds up very quickly.
Wow. Okay. Now here's an interesting one. You say that not filing actually opens you up to be victimized by identity thieves.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised how many people haven't filed a return in quite a while, and when they go ahead and submit that, return, they're notified by the Internal Revenue Service that a return is already on file. We were involved in a case where an identity theft ring stole about 60,000 identities from a medical insurance provider right here in New York, and we're preparing fraudulent returns in Georgia. So it's a real mess. Go ahead and file, speak to your accountant or your attorney. You can get wage and income transcripts from the Fed. And if anything's not there, it's a good way to catch it.
Now, very quickly, okay, what if you owe the money and you just can't pay? I mean, can you negotiate?
The best thing you can do is probably get into an installment agreement. You got a lot of places advertising for offers and compromise. The Fed really doesn't approve very many of those.
Okay, David Selig, founder of TrueTaxHelp.com. Thanks for being with us again.
Thanks for having me.
And for more of David's advice, you can log on to PIX11.com/morning news.
All right, Craig, thank you very much.